Hi guys, in this video I'm going to be talking about the probability analysis of Catan. Ta-da! Settlers of Catan. It's a super fun game. I highly recommend it if you have played it. But anyways, so in Catan, you roll dice to see if you pick up resources. And with those resources, you build things. So, disclaimer, Catan is much more strategy and much more complex than what I'm going to talk about in this video, but I figure you guys don't want to watch a hour-long video on a board game, so I'm only going to talk about the probability of the dice rolls, and then I'm going to talk about the strategy involving resources. Okay, now the resources are these little hexagon-shaped pieces that I then put a marker on, and I can touch a maximum of, I put it in the corner, and I can touch a maximum of 3 at once. Okay. On each of these hexes goes a number. When the dice is rolled, I get to collect if my number on the hexagon matches the dice roll. Okay, so to determine the probability of rolling each number, first I have to use the fundamental counting principle. That is in chapter 7.3 of Big Ideas, but I'm going to explain what it is right now. So the fundamental counting principle is when one event is followed by another event, in this case, one event followed by another event, and you take all the possible outcomes of event 1 and you multiply it by all the possible outcomes of event 2. So this is a 6-sided dice. Therefore, there are 6 total possible outcomes that can happen from this and 6 total outcomes that can happen from this. So I multiply 6 times 6, and I get 36 possible outcomes. So when I'm doing my probability, my denominator on my fraction is 36. Remember, when we're doing probability, we have the desired outcome on the top, and then the total possible outcomes on the bottom, the denominator. Okay. So what is the probability that I roll a 2? Okay. I would have to roll a 1 on the yellow dice and a 1 on the red dice. That is the only way to get a 2. Therefore, the probability is 1/36 because there's only one way to roll a 2. Okay, 1/36. What is the probability of rolling a 3? Well, I can either roll a yellow 2 and a red 1, or a yellow 1 and a red 2. There are 2 ways of rolling a 3. Therefore, my probability is 2/36. And the last one I'm going to do really quick is 4. What's the probability of rolling a 4? I can either roll a red 1 and a yellow 3. I can roll a red 3 and a yellow 1. Or I can roll a double 2. Therefore, there are 3 desired outcomes. There's 3 ways of rolling a 4. So there's 3/36 of a chance that I roll a 4. And I know you guys can simplify these fractions, but just so we can compare them, we're going to keep that as the common denominator as 36. All right, skipping forward, here's all the probabilities of rolling each number. And I tried to represent it in a bar graph so you guys can kind of see that easier. But our most probable number is 7. Now in the game of Catan, there's actually no 7 that you collect on. Something special happens on when a 7 is rolled, but you don't collect. Therefore, the most probable numbers to get on is the 6 and the 8. The next set of most probable numbers is the 9 and the 5, and so forth, going outwards. So the middle numbers are the most probable. The outside numbers are the least probable. Okay, so that is the theoretical probability of each dice roll in Catan. Now let's talk about this another aspect of the strategy of Catan, and we're going to talk about the resources. As I showed you guys before, each resource is a hex, and then you put them all in a puzzle. So there are 4 wood hexes. There are 4 sheep, 4 wheat, and only 3 brick and ore. Now, there's only 1 desert, but you don't want to be on the desert. There's no resources on a desert. It's barren. It's bad. Okay? So the most rare numbers, or most rare resources, are brick and ore. Now we look at how many different things can we build with these resources. You can build 2 different things with wood, 2 different things with sheep, 2 different things with brick and ore, but wheat has 3 different things you can build with it. Therefore, the most useful resource is wheat, while the most rare resources are brick and ore. So my enrichment strategy that I would be using on my probabilities, I would be prioritizing 6 and 8, 5 and 9, and the resources I'd prioritize are wheat, brick, and ore. Now, again, in Catan, you can touch a maximum of 3 squares per my little marker. Therefore, I can be touching a maximum of 3 numbers at a time. And using this table, I just add those 3 numbers up to get what the probability is every single time I roll. So say my 3 hexes are 5, 6, and 8. I would just add those probabilities up, which would be 9 plus 5 is 14. So I would have 14/36 or 7/18 of a chance to pick up a resource every single time the dice is rolled. Okay. So that is the strategy. When I put it into practical use, last night I played Catan with my mother, brother, and sister-in-law. We played 2 games. I won 1 of those games because I prioritized the most useful resource, which is wheat, and the numbers I had on wheat were 5, 6, and 9. Okay, so 9, 13. I had 13/36 of a chance of collecting wheat, the most useful resource, every single time the dice is rolled. So I was able to win using that strategy. And again, there's a lot more to Catan than just those things, but I hope you guys enjoyed my probability analysis of Catan. Have fun playing your games.